Hi there, I'm Stephanie Stegan, and I'm here with Kim Loomis, and she is the Library Media Specialist for Huntsville City Schools at Challenger Elementary. And so first, thank you so much
you're welcome.
for doing this for me. So I was looking over your job description, and it says that you plan the program, the library media program, and develop policies. You have to keep track of like copyright stuff and make sure that teachers know about that. You do the technology devices.
Yes.
Provide an environment for the students to get resources and teachers, that kind of thing. So and I've seen you in action before. I know you do all of those things, but what else do you do that really isn't in your job description, that like in reality, what do you do every day?
Well, and I'm sure this is in the job description, but like checking books in and out, shelving the books, that's the most important part, just to make sure that the kids have access to what they need. It's been pretty hard since COVID, but we had to come up with policies during COVID to figure out, how to stick within the guidelines given out by CDC and then also by the school district. I'm trying to, other things, but this is extra paid, would be I used to do the yearbook. I don't do that anymore. I do, and this isn't paid, but I help with scheduling every year. And
that's definitely not in your
that's not in the job description, but I kind of feel like librarians in general, maybe not all of them, but logistics is, you have to figure out this goes there, and so wrapping your brain around it can be kind of hard. In the first couple of years I did it was kind of hard, but once you get into the groove, it's okay. But trying to please everyone and trying to get everyone what they want, and then with the guidelines from downtown is tough sometimes. I do the website, but that's another position that's paid not much, but it makes sense if you're the tech person to do that. One thing I would like to note is on the technology side is that we have had zero training. We have never had any official training for anything that has to do with the distribution or all of that. They kind of tell us what to do every year, but a lot of times if you're not working in it, the guidelines that they send don't make sense.
Okay.
So again, that's something that a lot of times it's just your school and what's good for your school.
Yeah, and so it's media specialist, but it doesn't, you're not officially the technology director, but you kind of are in your daily.
Yeah, and we have tech people. We've had them and we haven't had them. And this year we had one for 3 days a week, and then they left, and then we had one for 2 days a week, and then they left, and then we had one for 2 days a week. So
in reality, that falls on you.
Right, it does, and it's fine. I did as much as I could at the moment to help students get back, so that they could learn. Right. But also, if it was something that that I couldn't do, I would have to replace the computer, and and then. Just not knowing if that person's going to show up that day, if they were going to have something else they needed to do, if downtown needed them. It wasn't very reliable. Yeah. So it still fell on me, and I'm lucky enough to have a halftime aide. Okay. And she can help with all of that stuff too, so that helps.
Well, and you touched on this already about how what you do has an impact on student learning on a daily basis.
Yes,
and
hopefully.
So, like you said, helping them with their computers and making sure that they have the books and stuff like that.
But making sure things work.
What else do you do? I know personally from working with you that you I could send you an email and you would stack up books for me, and
we pull books for anybody. We ask for a little time to do that, but if a teacher's in and it's my PE time and I need this book really bad, we'll pull books. I don't know. I'm just making sure the kids, for me, making sure the kids have a book that they want to read, and having to deal with AR. That's another one of my job, other duties as assigned. A lot of librarians deal with AR, a lot don't. It just kind of depends. But making sure that a kid has a book that they want to read, but also is staying within the parameters that they need to within their classroom. And so a lot of times that means, they need 2 books, or they need, I know you're in 2nd grade and you probably can't read Harry Potter, but you've got this other book. So if it's going to make you happy to leave with that book, then that's what we're going to do, even though you're going to come back with it tomorrow. But just making sure that the library is a place that they feel welcome and want to be. Awesome. And that's a learning curve. And actually recently, especially, there's been an influx of a need for diverse books, and which isn't something that's even been as available until a few years ago. And so expanding our collection, and also weeding our collection and getting rid of books that aren't being read, that don't portray things the way that they should be, and then diversifying the collection. So in the past 2 years, I've gotten rid of a ton of books.
Well, and that's basically, you just answered my second question, was how have you improved and become more focused? And that's really important.
Thing. And finding the hardest part, Ezra Jack Keats was one of my favorite authors as a kid, but that's the only author I can tell you off the top of my head from when I was a kid that even was available, that had a child of color even in a book. And Ezra Jack Keats is a Jewish guy. And so, but they're still some of my favorites. But just this big need recently has really helped a lot of librarians diversify the collection.
That's awesome, because representation, it matters. The kids need to see themselves.
Well, and that's the other thing, coming up with displays and stuff. And Banned Book Week is always in September. And so this past year, my Banned Book Week, because you put stuff in there like the kids are like, this is banned, and and so after Banned Book Week, I just put up a sign on the bin that said these are books that cause controversy, and I defined the word controversy, and the whole entire year we put those books, and it just, the kids, anything you stand up, they call it guerrilla marketing, right? Like GUE. Just like, standing up, because that's what the kids are going to go for. And that's a new thing in librarianing right now. That's not a word, librarian, but is having dynamic shelving, which is I feel like I've always kind of done that, but I'm working on that this year with the library, like making sure that some of these books are more easily accessible. And part of that is getting rid of a lot of the books that we didn't need anymore, because the kids would just leave them everywhere, and when it's too much, it's too much, and the kids have trouble seeing the books.
So how long have you been a librarian?
I've been a librarian for 22 years, I think. It's 2022, and I want to say I started in 2000 or 2001. So
awesome. And what's the favorite thing about your job?
I love reading to the kids. It's reading to the kids, and
that's my favorite thing to do too.
And this, when I started taking over tech, and the state started getting involved in what our duties should be, they told us that we couldn't have a fixed schedule, and so 2nd or 3rd through 5th kind of got taken out of the schedule, and only on a basis
weekly,
only on a basis where the teachers worked with me, which as a teacher, this is really hard to do. Like, the teachers don't have time. And so I really lost out on seeing those older kids, and this year, because I work on the schedule, and the state has kind of backed off a little, I put 3rd through 5th back in on an every other week basis.
Oh, nice.
So I'm looking forward to
and I know that kids love to be read to. They really do. They absolutely love it.
I think it's so important, because the love of reading, you have to be able to read to do anything in life, and so my thing is hopefully to develop that love, so that they can succeed more.
I got that. I had the same feeling.
Well,
I'm the
even,
same way.
even in math, you've got word
Yes.
problems.
Oh, exactly.
So it
Exactly.
goes. I think it goes across every part of the curriculum.
Yeah,
So.
very good. Well, thank you so much.
welcome.
I appreciate all of the information, and have a good rest of your summer.
Thanks. You too.